Sports Snippets, Dennis Sullivan here. It's Sunday, the 21st of February, 2021. Here to discuss some Miami Heat basketball, an update as to what's going on actually through 30 games of this somewhat abbreviated 72-game NBA regular season. Glad that you're here watching. If you do like the content of this particular video, go ahead, hit that like button, please. That would be awesome for the channel. Also, feel free to subscribe to Sports Snippets with Dennis Sullivan. So guys, let's get right into it. Perfect time for a video update on the Miami Heat after they prove themselves on the road 96-94 against the Los Angeles Lakers. Big win for the Heat. I know Anthony Davis was out with the injury and the Lakers were not 100%, but nonetheless the Heat climb a little closer into playoff positioning, if you will, as they are now 13 wins, 17 losses. Not good at all, but in this season, as I'll get into in just a few moments, there's not many teams in the Eastern Conference that have really good records, to be honest. Actually, 2 or 3 teams, and that's about it. Everyone else seems to be near 500 or below 500. So at 13 and 17, as crazy as it sounds, the Heat are very much alive in the Eastern Conference, especially as they start to get a little bit more healthy. Now with Jimmy Butler coming back from the injury, also Goran Dragic still out. Mo Harkless also still out, not in the rotation. So the Heat, I mean, still have a ways to go getting healthy. But, of course, having Jimmy Butler back is a definite step in the right direction. Let's get into it, guys. It was a close game. It was a nice win for the Heat, as I mentioned, 96-94. Now, that would make the Heat 3 up and 3 down. You got it on this Western Conference 7-game West road trip. They conclude and finish up the West road trip on Monday in Oklahoma City against the Thunder. You would think that that would be a win for the Heat. We'll see. It won't be easy. It'll be on the road, of course. Thunder are definitely rebuilding right now. They're something like 11 and 18. And when I mention these records, guys, and I mention the Heat record and Oklahoma City's record, this is all going into Sunday's games. The Thunder definitely having a rebuilding type season in this 2020-2021 campaign. So let's talk a little Lakers Heat first. I did check into this game, guys. I mean, I watched a fair amount of it. I watched mainly the second half, was kind of watching some movies and stuff at home during the first half, paying attention a little bit on my phone, and then I zoned into this in the second half. I was impressed with Kyle Kuzma, who had a nice game for the Lakers, 23 points, 4 rebounds. LeBron was his normal LeBron self. He almost had a triple-double, 19 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists, a steal, and a block. Contavious Caldwell-Pope would have 11 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and a block. Wesley Matthews, 10 points, 8 rebounds, and an assist, also a steal and a block. And then he had Marc Gasol, still getting a little bit used to having him on the Lakers. 6 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and he'd have 2 blocks. Neither team really had much going on from the bench, except for Montrezl Harrell's performance for the Lakers. He came up big for the Lakers. Would have been a big reason why they almost pulled it out. He had a double-double off the bench, 18 points, 10 rebounds, and an assist and 2 blocks. Talen Horton-Tucker, 5 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and a block. Correction on Harrell, he had 2 steals, not 2 blocks. He had 2 steals, no blocks. But Talen Horton-Tucker had a block. Markieff Morris had 2 points and 1 rebound. Alex Caruso did not score, had a rebound and 4 assists. Caruso was the guy at the very end who missed what would have been the game-tying shot just inside the 3-point line. That was big. He caught a little bit of a break there. I mean, he had a good look at that shot. A better shooter in the league would have probably hit that. Caruso's not a bad shooter. I mean, he caught a break there, I thought, on that one a little bit. I mean, it could have, and he was just like not even a foot from 3-point range. I mean, technically that could have been a step back 3-point attempt as well. Big story for the Heat is the continued play of Kendrick Nunn, a guy that was almost Rookie of the Year last year, then was all of a sudden losing playing time, then basically lost playing time altogether. Like we weren't even seeing him for a while. Leads the Heat with 27 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals and a block. Great job by him. Jimmy Butler had a nice game. Whenever you see Jimmy Butler rebounding the basketball more, you know that's a good sign for the Heat. He is one of the better rebounding guards in the league. 24 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. Bam was regular Bam Adebayo for the Heat. 16 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals and a block. Duncan Robinson, 11 points, an unexpected 10 rebounds and an assist. Very nice by Duncan to get those 10 rebounds. Kelly Olynyk was quiet, really didn't have his shot going early. He was about 1 out of 5 from the field. 4 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. He did have a block. Tyler Hero. Now, the Heat bench, the only one who really got significant minutes off the Heat bench, they would play 5 guys off the bench, but Andre Iguodala was the only guy who got what I would consider to be significant playing time. I mean, he played 24 minutes. Everyone else was around 10 to 15 minutes playing time. Iguodala with 3 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal, but you know, you have Iguodala in there mainly for defensive purposes. He is a very good team player. Should be getting the minutes he gets, let's put it this way, guys, is deserved. It is deserved. Tyler Hero, 5 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. See, he was quiet. Precious Achiuwa, still not many minutes off the bench, 4 points, 4 rebounds. Max Struss, who we've seen now in the rotation since Mo Harrell's been out, he's gotten some playing time along with Gabe Vincent because, of course, you have Dragic out. So Struss would have 2 points and a rebound. Gabe Vincent did not score, had 2 rebounds and a steal off the Heat bench. So where does that leave us? I mean, you got 3 games coming up this week, guys. I mean, you have the Heat playing, as I mentioned, in Oklahoma City. That is Monday night on the road to finish up that 7-game road trip. A win by the Heat would be huge in that game. That means that the Heat would finish 4-3 on the Western 7-game road trip. That would be pretty good, actually. A positive sign in the right direction for the Heat, who then go home for 2 other games during this week, that being the week of the 22nd. I'm sorry, Monday's the 22nd. Okay, against Oklahoma City on the road. Then you got Wednesday and Friday. So for the week of the 22nd, during the week, you have 3 games. So you have that 1 game on the road, as I mentioned. Then you're home for 2 games. The 24th, which is a Wednesday against Toronto Raptors. And then Friday night, the 26th, a home game against the Utah Jazz, who are arguably the best team in the NBA so far this year. I personally think the Jazz have a great shot at going to the NBA Finals and representing the Western Conference. I really do. They have a tremendous team, very well put together team. You just got to like that team, guys. I mean, I know the Lakers are the defending champions. Now, let's touch on the Lakers real quick. So the Heat do get a break, as many teams will be getting a break, by playing the Lakers over the next month or so without Anthony Davis. So he's out for like a month, guys. That's a big break for the Heat. It still took every ounce of effort to beat that team. Lakers, of course, are going to be one of those teams right there at the end. Many have them picked to repeat as NBA champions. We'll see about that. I personally think it's a toss-up, really. Lakers or Utah in the West. Got a few other good teams in there as well. But in the East, let's take a look now at the top teams. As you'll notice, the Heat are really only a couple of games from like the 4th seed. Because right now, the Celtics and Pacers are tied for the 4th and 5th seed at 15 and 14. Heat are 13 and 17, guys. I mean, it's only like a couple of games behind those two teams. Sixers leading the East at 20 and 10. That's pretty legit. I mean, Embiid is dominant. He is the difference maker. He scored 50 points a few nights ago, as you may recall. Ben Simmons, still a tremendous player. You remember how about a couple of years ago, the Sixers were really the team getting all the publicity and all the hype, and then it kind of calmed down a little. It chilled out for a while. I think that's now working to their advantage. In other words, like, the Sixers now, I mean, they're not really the talk of the NBA, but they're almost, as funny as this sounds, they're like flying under that radar. They're looking good. A lot of people are picking the Nets, who are now 19 and 12. I'm not one of those, and I'll tell you why. Yeah, you got that big three, which is tremendous in Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. But you know what? I don't know, guys. I think they're like a really good big man away. And watch, I'm going to see in the comments, good big men for the Nets. But the inside presence isn't too great for the Nets. And I mean, I even heard on talk radio this morning, actually. I was just listening to it Sunday morning, and someone was picking the Nets to win the whole thing. I mean, to win the NBA title. I just personally don't. Maybe there's something I'm not seeing, guys. I think the Nets are going to go far in the playoffs. I mean, they're a very good team now with James Harden coming over. Not to mention Kevin Durant a few years ago before he got hurt. Was going to play with them last year, but he was hurt. So let's see how that works out. I mean, still, Nets are going to be tough, though. The Bucks have kind of taken a step back as far as wins and losses. This was the dominant team in the East for 2 straight seasons. That just couldn't get it done in the playoffs. They're now 17 and 13, still one of the better teams in the East. Celtics and Pacers, as mentioned, 15 and 14. Toronto Raptors, 15 and 15. Charlotte Hornets, who the Heat play, coming up soon. I believe they're playing. No, they're not. I'm not sure if they're playing them later in the week. That I'll have to check on. But Charlotte Hornets, 14 and 15. The Knicks at 14 and 16. I mean, guys, if the season ended today, the Knicks would be in the playoffs. They're a game ahead of the Heat. I have a hard time believing the Heat can't catch the Knicks. Chicago Bulls are technically a half game ahead of the Heat at 13 and 16. So as you can see, just a few games separating the Heat from a mid-seed in the Eastern Conference. If I was doing this video last weekend, it was sometime about 7 to 10 days ago, there was only 3 teams in the Eastern Conference with winning records. So the Heat just need to continue getting healthy. Jimmy Butler sounding a little bit more confident about the team. When I heard him, he was really sounding positive about chances of the Heat this season in his post-game interview on the court following the 2-point victory in Los Angeles against the Lakers. So guys, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. This is Dennis Sullivan saying, I will see you. That's right. You. Next time we're talking Miami Heat, leave me a comment and we'll talk again very soon. Bye for now.